Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. We've got blizzard conditions out there today. Supposed to pick up about a foot and a half of snow, but nice and warm in the shop. And we're working on this CJ3A again. Yesterday I took the second windshield frame that we're trying to use here, and I filled all the holes, and I got our new door hinge and curtain retainer welded on. The old ones were shot. I got those on, and there were 49 different holes in this windshield frame that needed to be plug welded, filled up. I still got to do some grinding, but it's amazing what people do to these things, and once they get a drill in their hands they kind of go crazy. But I have this windshield frame straightened out and all the holes are filled, and it's much better than the first one we tried. So this is going to be a nice frame once it's all ground down. You got to wonder what people are thinking when they start drilling holes. I have no idea what those are for, but the arms aren't bent on this. I spent some time getting those broken screws out where the windshield, the wiper tube comes, and you can see the hinges on there. And I had to get that latch in there for the vent portion. And that's in there. And I'm going to start fitting the top bows today. And when I started doing that, I ran into a couple of little problems that are kind of a pain. Today we're going to talk a little bit about restorations, bad parts that are out there, and why it's kind of good just to let the restoration shop handle the restoration instead of getting parts from all over the place. And everything we've used on this thing so far has been junk that was bought from the outside. And we've got some more little problem pieces that I'm going to show you today, and it just doesn't help the project along, but I want to show you guys, so if you ever need some little pieces like I'm going to show you, you don't run into the same problems I'm running into. Okay, let me get the camera set up and I'll show you what we're working on. Okay, I'm starting to put the top bows on so I could fit the top and get all the bows in and the holes that need to be in the body. And there's still a lot of holes that need to go in here. All the footman loops need to go on, stuff like that. And that's what I'm working on now. But here's that little bow pocket that goes in the corner here. And on a previous video I showed that, and the originals were really busted up and rusted and mangled, and they were just terrible. And I was going to make these for the project because I usually do all the sheet metal work, but on this particular project my customer is quite involved and likes to try and save some money on things that you can just buy instead of have me make. And you can see where that got us on the rear floor if you've been following this project, and the side panels and everything that was bought outside has been terrible. So these look well made. They come from a Jeep parts supplier, and well-known guy, and they look like they're going to work out okay. And here's the difference between somebody that just sells parts and a real restoration shop. If I made these, they would fit perfectly because I would take the time, measure everything out, dimension it, and make it right. Somebody went to probably a precision sheet metal shop, took some patterns, and this is what they came up with, and it fits in there okay. Kind of gives you a false sense that things are going to work out for you. You just clamp it in there. I'm not going to weld it in. You just clamp that in for you. Okay, so things still look like they're going okay. And let me see if I still got you in there. Okay, focus is good. And then you take your top bow. Now this is an original top bow. It has a very, very thin coating of epoxy primer on it, and there's no buildup of paint on there. So you try and put that guy in there, and there's no chance it's going to go in there. We're about one thickness of metal off, and just to get this bow to go in here, we're off 95 thousandths of an inch. You know, that's quite a bit, and that's a real miss on the part of whoever made these. So this is an instance where you think you're going to save some money and buy some of these things off the shelf. They don't fit. Now, to fix these, I'm going to have to carefully TIG weld on a piece of, let's see, 95. Probably going to use a piece of 1/8 inch, because by the time we get paint in here and paint on the bow, we're going to need some clearance to get that bow in there. And I'm probably going to have to take a piece of 1/8 inch, carefully TIG weld it, blend it in, stick that back up against there, and it should be okay. But this is what I'm saying. If you take your project, I know a lot of you guys do your own work, but if you take your project somewhere and you're dealing with somebody who's restored, you know, many vehicles, and you think you're gonna, you know, tell them how, you know, how to do things and where to buy parts and this and that, you know, it's just not gonna work. It's gonna wind up costing you money in the long run. So I'm just trying to save you guys some headache if you think you're gonna just buy parts off the shelf and they're gonna work. The Jeep industry, the Willys parts industry is really going to hell. There's guys that think they're making good parts, you know, and they're, you know, telling everybody, oh, we got the best parts, and oh, made in the United States, and you know, why even bother making them if they don't fit? And that's a problem right there. These parts, as far as I'm concerned, they're junk. They missed real bad on these, and this is what happens when you try and save a few dollars. And you don't have me make the right parts to begin with. And it's been like that the whole project. And yeah, the project kind of got out of hand because the body was so bad. And you know, what can you do? You know, we were in a tough situation, and it's hard to start saving pennies. Hang on, compressor's running. But like I'm saying, it's hard to start saving pennies when you're this deep into restoration. Now I'm going to put a shim behind these things, and I'm going to try and get the top bows fit, and I'll show you that as it goes along, and we'll see if we run into any more problems or not. But just want to keep you guys aware of what's out there, and hopefully stop you from making the same mistake that we had on this particular vehicle. Okay, I got the top bows on, and everything's kind of just sitting in place there. Everything's just clamped. I don't have any holes drilled yet. Okay, I think you can see all that. And I uncovered another big problem that we're going to have. And I'll show you what that is. You see those little pockets in the floor there? That's where your footman loop goes for your half cab. And they're supposed to line up with your middle bow here. And I think you can see how far off we are when I line up both of those bows. See the other one over there? You see we're way behind the floor there. And that's just due to the fact that they put those pockets in the wrong place. I did not realize it. Like I say, this is my first time with one of these horrible floors from Classic. And let me try and get you in here. Okay, that bow pocket on the Classic floor, the center of it is 8 1/4. What we need, and what was on the original floor, was a center line from that for that pocket of 11 1/2. Now you can see at 11 1/2 we're into a brace on the underside of the floor, a piece of hat channel. So moving the pockets back is not going to be too easy. I guess we could put footman loops right on the floor. That would be terrible because they'd be sticking up, they'd be in the way. I'm not sure what's going to happen here now. This floor is, and those pockets are just completely in the wrong place. The top is not going to work out. If anybody thinks they're going to put some bows and a top and run a half top on a CJ3A with a Classic floor, it's just not going to happen. Everything is in the wrong place, and I don't know what's going to happen here. Like I say, this has just been a probably one of my toughest restorations because of these aftermarket parts. And you know, it's like I say, it's kind of, it's nice when the customer's involved, but it's kind of a pain in the ass too, because the customer's main goal is always to save money, and a lot of times they just see a few dollars savings, like in the floor like this. You know, absolutely you can buy this floor cheaper than I can build it for. But now when we have pieces of this floor in the wrong place, we're dead in the water. So not sure what's going to happen here. Like I say, it's just been a tough restoration. It's been nothing but bad parts and you know, concerns about the cost. So I'm just trying to get you guys to understand that if you do ever take a vehicle in for restoration, you know, you got to understand what the restoration process is all about. And a lot of guys think they understand, but until you actually get involved in one, until you actually have done it a few times, there's so much detail work, and there's so many things that need to be right, and tolerances that need to be held, and that old saying, "Oh, as a Jeep, it's simple," you know, and it's not real accurate. I mean, if you're trying to put something together nice, you have to be accurate. And yeah, it does mean, you know, you have to hold tolerances, and like these bowl pockets, you know, it's just a damn mess, you know. I mean, it's a lot of extra work, you know, for something that you thought you were going to save some money on. So just trying to bring some reality to you guys and show you what, you know, what a project is all about. And like I say, this one is not going smooth. It is one of my more difficult ones. And you know, if you're going to do it, you've got to be willing to put the time in, and basically, you know, there's nobody out there, you know, that's mass producing accurate parts. Yeah, it's becoming a real problem. So that's where we're at today. The bows are on. The top is absolutely not going to work with this rear floor, and I'm going to have to go over a few things and talk to my customer about this and see how he wants to attack it. But right now, it's just bad news. So just want to show you guys what's happening. Alert you to the fact that these floors are terrible. Nothing's in the right place. And save yourself some aggravation and save what you got, or have somebody make you a floor, or make your own floor, or do something. But for God's sakes, don't buy this junk. It's just gonna come around and bite you in the end, and it's just terrible. So just trying to open up some information here so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, I dug the old original floor out again, and I just want to show you guys what's happening. This green mark is where the center line of this pocket is on that floor we have in the vehicle. It's an 8 3/8 center line. Our original is an 11 5/8 center line. On the floor we have in there, they have their pocket there, and then they have a piece of hat channel behind it. On the original floor, piece of hat channels in front of it, pockets behind it. So if I wanted to take that pocket out, you cut it out and re-weld it back where it's supposed to be in that floor, I got the hat channel in the way. We've got a 3 1/4 inch difference in center lines on our footman loop pockets. So that's where the trouble is. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm, bad mouthing anybody or this or that. I get so aggravated that nothing is ever built right. And in 2018 here, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf here, and I may just do my own projects and try and get some other different kind of vehicles to restore in here. Get away from the Willys stuff a little bit, except for myself. On projects like this one, the basic thing I kept hearing over and over again was, if it's cheaper to buy a part than to have me make it, well, then my customer was going to buy a part. And that has caused me nothing but grief. This project is dragging on way too long. It should have been done a long time ago, but it's just been one problem after another with bad parts, and just seems to be the way things are going lately. I put these videos out to help everybody, and I've got a group of, a handful of good guys that are learning and doing stuff for themselves, and appreciate you guys watching, and I'm glad I can show you stuff. But for the most part, people just don't really have a grasp on what it takes to put something together, or how to do a restoration properly, and it just gives me a lot of grief, at every turn. So it's going to be a real pain. What I'm going to do now probably is take the body off the chassis, finish up the chassis, get the exhaust in, get it running, get the brakes going, get the steering finished up, and then see which direction we're going to go with the body. But at least I get the chassis finished up and fired up, and get everything finished there. And again, like I say, I'm just trying to move in a different direction now. It's just too much of a hassle, having people, customers and such, telling me how to do my job. It's kind of aggravating. I've done so many vehicles, and on a lot of vehicles I never even met the people. They just send me a vehicle, I restore it, talk to them on color and stuff like that, but they wouldn't always be needling me on things, you know what I mean? And it costs too much, and this and that and the other thing. Restoration work does get expensive. I think everybody knows that. Paint and chemicals are so crazy expensive now. It's hard to put a vehicle together from scratch now without spending a ton of money. But I just don't really have the stomach for it anymore. The customers are getting me down and stuff, and I don't want to feel like that anymore. I just want to work on my own projects where I can do my own thing and do it correctly, and not have to worry about spending money or this or that. And, you know, there's only two ways you can have a vehicle you want. You either have to build it yourself, or you have to pay somebody to do it. And if you can't do the work yourself, it's kind of tricky, you know. If you have to pay somebody to do it, you know, yeah, it gets expensive, you know. You know, I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of machinery here, and you know, people come in and you know, they just kind of eyes gloss over and they don't really realize it, you know. You know, if you're talking to a doctor or something like that, you know, and they start rambling on about how much their college costs, well, guess what? I got the same amount of money tied up in my machines, but can't hardly get any of the same money out that they do. I'm just going on and on because, you know, I just feel like that today. Just want to get some stuff off my chest here, let you guys know how things are going. But that's what's going on. If the floors are a mess, the body is just... it's really not where I want it to be right now. So like I say, I'm going to pull that off and work on the chassis and take some time to figure this out. Okay, I'll be right back with you. Hang in there. Hey guys, I know it's been quite a rant today about things going wrong on a 3A project. And thanks for hanging with me as I get through it. But I picked that up in the air again, and just gonna walk away from it for today. You know, there's times when you just gotta best to walk away from a project than work on it while you're aggravated. And you know, when you're working on a project for so long, and if you haven't done it and you haven't spent thousands of hours working on a project before, you know, you do kind of go out of your mind a little bit. So for the guys that know what I'm talking about, that's where I'm at right now. And for those of you who don't know what I'm saying, trust me, if you spend a long time on your project like that, there's just days where you have to get away from it. But I want to end this on a good note and show you guys another project that I haven't told you is coming in yet. And let me see if I can get a picture of it here for you. Might be kind of hard to see it. I'm going to try and get you in there. That right there is a Burma Jeep wrecker. You've seen me before. If you follow along, you saw me make a toolbox for my Burma bomb service truck. I haven't really showed you that or talked too much about it, but this is a wrecker. I only made 50 of these vehicles, and this one is, boy, it's hard to zoom in there. This one has been picked up and it's going to be delivered to me sometime this month, I believe. It is safe and secure at a friend's house, and that's going to be a nice project. And it's the real deal here. Let me see if I can get you in there. That's the real wrecker data tag. And I don't know why it is, but I got a soft spot for these Burma Jeeps. And you know, you could search 2 lifetimes and never find a wrecker because most of them are gone, wrecked, salvaged. But this one appears to be in very good shape. I haven't actually seen it yet. I just bought it based on the pictures, and a good friend of mine picked it up for me. So sometime when the weather ever clears up around here, that'll come in, and we'll think happy thoughts until then, and not worry too much about where we're at on the 3A project. So I appreciate you hanging in there with me and watching and stuff, and next video will be better. I'll try and get myself together here and make some real progress on that, and I'll show you that as it goes on. But for now, that's all I have for today, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.